Good morning, students. Welcome to the data structure session, Unit 4. In today's topic, we are going to see about representation of graph. That is, how we are going to represent the graph. With that representation, how we are going to apply it in different scenarios that we are going to see now. Before that, let's quickly revise the previous topics. In yesterday's class, we have seen the introduction of graph. What is meant by graph? What are the terminologies that are used in graph, etc. Just we have a quick revision. So a graph obviously contains what? It contains vertices and edges. A graph can have at least one vertex also. That can also be considered as a graph. Then edges are used to connect the vertices. Then we saw different terminologies. That is what is meant by directed graph, undirected graph, then path. So everything we have seen yesterday. I want to revise means I will quickly revise those things. Just we saw cycle, a path from a vertex to itself. Suppose if there is a possible path. Path means what? From one node, if I am able to reach another node, then that is called as path. So we have seen path, simple path, and then circuit. Yes. So path is nothing but how I am going to reach the particular destination from a source. You can treat any vertex as a source vertex and any vertex as destination vertex in graph. So from the source, if I am having some path to reach the destination, means that definition that is called as path. Simple path means what? The vertices must be distinct. That means no vertex should be repeated. You can see this example. We are having the path 1, 2, 4, 5, and then what? Again 4. I am having a path from 5 to 4 also. That is called as path. But here the vertex 4 is repeated. So it cannot be called as a simple path. If you want to find the simple path means you are going to find the path only, but here the vertices should be different. No vertex should be repeated. That is simple path. Then finally we saw what? Circuit. Circuit means if I am reaching the same vertex, that is called as a circuit. You are going to find the path only, but if you are going to reach the initial vertex after the terminal vertex, that is called a circuit. We have seen all those things. Then cycle. Using this cycle formation, we are going to see different applications. In a graph, if there is any cycle formation, means that is called as cyclic graph. Otherwise, it is called as acyclic graph. In a directed graph, if there is no cycle, means then that is called as directed acyclic graph, DAG. It's the acronym, a famous acronym used in graphs. Okay. Then we saw one more, two more terminologies, null graph and then trivial graph. Null graph means it has only vertices. It can have any number of vertices, but no edges at all. That is called as null graph. But what is trivial graph? It will have only one vertex and zero edge. That is called as trivial graph. Understand the difference between trivial and null graph. In a null graph, yes, Charulata. So in a null graph, you can have more than one vertex. You will have at least 2 or 3, 4, more than one vertex. But in a trivial graph, you have only one vertex but no edge. These are the two variations of graph. Then with this I have stopped. Connected and disconnected graph. So connected graph means there should be at least one path between two vertices. But you can look at this example in H3. This graph is disconnected because there is no path between A and B and between E and D. So it is called as disconnected graph. Now, we can see one more example for undirected and directed graph and the definition for the undirected graph also. So there is no distinction. There is no difference between UV and VU. UV means what? Vertices. The names of the vertices generally mentioned as U, V. If there is no distinction between two set of vertices, then that is the undirected graph. Okay, normally a flight route or a train route, bus route from Chennai to Trichy. It means that bus is not only going from Chennai to Trichy. Again, the bus route is from Trichy to Chennai. Okay, so here the edge is said to be, that is what? Yeah, the entire graph is said to be undirected, but you are having directions. From Chennai to Trichy means what are the paths I have to go. Similarly, from Trichy to Chennai means what are the different paths I have to come. Different paths I have to traverse to reach the destination. Okay. So here it's not necessary to be ordered. If the pairs are not ordered, then that is called as undirected graph. Any road map or railway map, that can be called as undirected. You can look at this example. Here, both A to B, there is path from A to B and also B to A. Yesterday itself I have mentioned in detail. I think no need to explain again. So if I have direction means, then that is called as directed graph. We have seen yesterday itself. If there is arrow mark, that is from A to B means through the edge small a, I am going from vertex. I am starting from vertex A and I am reaching vertex B. If there is arrow mark in this particular B, it means that there is no path from B to A in a directed graph. That is the difference between undirected and directed graph. Okay. Now let's see complete graph. A complete graph means it is a simple graph in which every pair of vertices are adjacent. That means what? Adjacent means we have seen yesterday. When can two vertices be adjacent? If they are the endpoints for the particular edge. Yes, if they are considered as the endpoint for the particular edge. So let me explain. Suppose you have three nodes means all the nodes should be adjacent to each other. Then that graph is called as complete graph. Not only three, I can have some any number of nodes. So 5 vertices I am having. So here it's a graph structure only. This one we can call it as a graph, but there is no path. There is no edge from this node. Let me name this one. Simply we can call this one is 1, 2, 3, 4 and then 5. Vertex 1, 2, 3, 4 and then 5. We are going to see what is meant by complete graph. It means every pair of vertices are adjacent. That means what are the adjacent vertices for the node 1 here? There is path only from 1 to 4. So this node is adjacent. There is path from 1 to 3. So this 3 is adjacent to 1. There is path from 1 to 2. So 2 is adjacent. Only 2, 3, 4 are adjacent. But what is the one more node left out? 5. There is no path. You have to connect this also. Then only this graph will become complete graph. Okay. Just I mentioned for vertex 1 only. Now also this is not complete as of now. Got it? ஒரு நோட்ல இருந்து ஒரு வெர்டெக்ஸ்ல இருந்து எல்லா வெர்டெக்ஸ்க்கும் எட்ஜஸ் பாஸ் பண்ணிருக்கணும், கனெக்ட் ஆயிருந்தாதான் that is called as complete graph. ஓகேவா? So now for 1, 2 is connected, 5, 3, 4 connected. Okay. Similarly, you have to check for all other nodes. Then only your graph will become completed. Now check for 2. What are the adjacent nodes here? Now only 1 is adjacent. Only the vertex 1 is adjacent. So what you have to do? Connect 2, 3. Connect 2, 4, 2, 5. Got it? Yes, similarly for 3. You have to check whether there are paths to all other vertices. There is path from 3 to 1. Yes. There is path from 3 to 2. Or there is path from 3 to 5, but there is no path from 3 to 4. So you have to connect. Now check for 4. 4 to 1 connected, 4 to 2, 4 to 3, 4 to 5. So now it's okay. All other nodes are adjacent to this particular nodes. Similarly, come to the last vertex 5. 5 and 2 connected, 5 and 1, 5 and 3, 5 and 4. So now this graph is called as a complete graph. Okay, one more thing, it's not necessary that all the graphs should be complete always. Okay. You might know about mesh network. Mesh means from each node there should be connection to all other nodes. That is called as mesh. Same thing in graph we are using it as complete graph. Suppose we are having n number of vertices. Then there should be n into n minus 1 edges. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 vertices are there. So 5 into 5, there should be 20 edges should be there. That is the formula for finding the number of edges in a connected graph. Okay, I think I have 1, 2, 3. Yes, I have mentioned correctly. So if the vertices are numbered as n means, suppose look at this first one, there is only one dot is there. It means only one vertex. Just we can call it as a graph, no problem. Now look at the second diagram. We are having what? 2 points. That red color dot denotes the node or the vertex, and the line denotes the edge or arc. Okay. So here 2 nodes are there. Then what? One edge is connecting that one. Next here we are having 3 nodes. We are connecting each other node. So this is a complete graph. Now if I am not having, in the fourth one, if I am not having that inner cross symbol means it won't be a complete graph. Only if all the nodes are connected to, if one node is connected to all other nodes, then that is a complete graph. These are all some examples. Okay, you can look at it, all the nodes are connected. This is nothing but a mesh network. Just yesterday I played one video. Our social media, Facebook, it's an example for the, that is in Facebook, we are using the graph data structure only, undirected graph. You can imagine this itself as a Facebook application. So this dots, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dots are there, 8 users are there. So one user making a friend request to other user. Similarly, he is making to all other friends. So first friend 1 making request to all other 7 friends. Similarly, friend 2 making request to all other 7 friends. Like that, all are getting connected to each other. That is the complete graph. So these are the definitions. Every node should be connected to all other nodes. That means it should be adjacent to all other nodes. Then what will happen? If every node is adjacent to all other nodes means what? Then the degree must be same. What is the degree? Number of edges that are incident on a particular node. You can calculate degree for both directed and undirected graph. For directed graph, how can we calculate? You have to calculate in degree and out degree. Yes, but for undirected graph, for any node, suppose for this, look at this third diagram. So you are having point, that first red point, you can see it. How many edges are incident on it? 2 edges are incident. Similarly, look at that second dot, 2 edges are incident. Look at the third one, 2 edges are incident. So the degree of each vertex is 2 only. So normally in a complete graph, the degree of all the vertices will be equal. You can check it also. You will be asked some question. Check whether the given graph is complete or not. How can you do? These are all some interview questions. Just you have to check the degree of all the vertices. If any one degree is different from all other degree means, then it won't be a complete graph at all. Okay. So this K1 means 1 is the degree. Sorry, number of vertices. K2 means 2 nodes are there. K3, K4, like that 4 nodes they have mentioned. Just for example, they have mentioned. Here in the last example, we have what? 5 number of nodes. All 5 nodes are connected to each other. So in that complete graph, you can represent the complete graph either in directed or undirected. Okay, just you are having no direction at all. It means there is a possible path between 2 vertices. And V1 to V2 also there is path. Similarly, from V2 to V1 you can connect. So here you can calculate the degree of each vertex by using the formula n minus 1. Here in a complete undirected graph, you can check it also. How many vertices are there? 3 vertices are there. How can you calculate the degree means? Number of vertices minus 1. That will give the number of, that will give the degree of the particular node. Okay. So you can see this one. Is it a graph? First tell me this one. Can we say it as a graph? Yes. You must have at least 2 nodes and 1 edge, or any number of edges are possible. It's not necessary that all nodes should be connected to all other edges. It's only for complete graph. So this is the graph. There is a path from V1 to V3. Okay. Similarly, path from V1 to V2, V4, etc. So here a vertex, that is using n number of vertex, we can calculate the edges by using the formula n into n minus 1 by 2. Okay, is it complete or not? Check and tell me. V1 connected to all other nodes. Check it. V1 connected to V2, V4 and V3. Actually, இங்க நடுப்புற line கொடுக்கலாம். V1 to V3 அதுக்கு பதில் வெளியில கொடுத்திருக்காங்க line. Don't get confused. You can give a line in the inside the diagram also. No problem. Similarly, from V2 there is path to all other nodes. Yes. From V3 there is path to V2, V1 and V4. Yes, we have. Similarly, from V4, V1, V2, V3. So it is a complete graph. There is no direction, so it's a complete undirected graph. Suppose it is this one is a simple diagram. We are having only 4 vertices. We can calculate easily. We can count easily the number of edges. Suppose assume that you are having some 10 vertices or 100 vertices, 50 vertices. You can think of social media, Facebook having thousands and lakhs of users, millions of users. All millions of users may be connected to all other users. So there you have to find the edges. In that you have to use the formula n into n minus 1 by 2. Okay, to calculate the number of edges in a directed complete graph, we are using this formula n into n minus 1 by 2. So here how many vertices are there? 4 vertices. So n value is 4. 4 into 4 minus 1. So 4 into 3, 12 by 2, 6. 6 vertex are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and the middle one, V1 to V3. So totally 6 vertices are there. And these are all simple interview questions. You will be asked, given a undirected graph with 26 vertices, how many edges you will have? So 26 into 25 divided by 2. That will give the number of edges. Okay. Next, directed graph. Yesterday we have seen. Every edge will have a direction. It means that if there is a path from U to V, there is a path from vertex A to vertex B, means it's not necessary that there is path from B to A. There may be path or may not be path. Okay. This one. So look at this example. Here we are having 6 vertices. Yes. U, V, W, X, Y and Z are the vertices. There is path only from U to V. There is direct path. There is an edge connecting U and V only. There is no edge connecting V and U. Okay, understand the difference. And similarly, V to X only there is path. There is no path from X to V. We can have path, but through different other vertices, there is no direct edge. That is for B, the endpoints are V and X only. So that is the directed graph. We can also call this directed graph as digraph. In short form, we can call it as digraph. DI stands for directed. Okay. So it has ordered pair of vertices. The edge UV means there is path from U to V. It is distinct from V to U. So you look at this example. F to E. E to D, there is path. Now look at D and I vertices. There is path from D to I and also there is path from I to D. Okay. Here it is bidirectional. Both the directions are clearly given. But from I, there is only path to H only. There is no path from H to I. But you can reach I from H through what? Through some other vertices. You have to check the path. There is no direct edge between H and I, but I can reach I. How means? Look at the other nodes. There is path from H to E. So you can go there. Then from E to D. Then from D to I. In this way I can reach. Okay. So with the directed graph, we have so many applications. Yesterday I told that Chinese postman problem and traveling salesman problem. You look watch that video also. Those are all interesting problems with respect to graph. he has to travel all the cities, but no city should be repeated. So he has to find the shortest path and to visit all the cities. Okay. Now, so far you have seen complete, directed, undirected, so many terminologies. Another important thing is weighted graph. Now only I told that the traveling salesman problem. So assume that you have 5 cities. You are starting from city 1. You have to travel all other cities, but you should not go to the city more than one time. You have to visit only one time. That means what? You have to know the distance from city 1 to city 2, 3 and 4. Yes, just we can, so assume this one as city 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You are starting from city 1. First, what you have to do, which city is nearer to city 1? You have to check whether 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. Suppose if 5 is nearer means you can go there. Yes, how can you check? By measuring the distance only. But here there is no metric at all. There is no value at all to measure the distance. Yes, there is no value. Just I have connected only. I didn't mention any metric. Suppose if I am assigning some value to the edge means, then that becomes the weighted graph. Weight means assigning some value. For example, I am assigning value as 10. It means 10 meter or 10 kilometer, anything. So I want to move from node 1, vertex 1 to vertex 4. So the weight here is what? 10. Suppose here 3. This is for directed graph we are using. Here we are having 2. Just bear with my handwriting. Omit all other nodes. Just I have connected 1, 3 and 4. From 1 to 4, what is the value I have given? 10. From 1 to 3, the value given is 2. From 3 to 4, the value given is 2. Okay. So now tell me which route you will choose to reach the vertex 4. Anyone can unmute or you can put it in chat.
Ma'am, we go to 3 and then go to 4.
Yeah. Why you are choosing that 3? Because that is the direct path also. Yes, shortest path. Because by looking at the value only we are calculating. Though there is direct path from 1 to 4, just for example I have mentioned this. There is direct path from 1 to 4, but what is the distance there? 10. That is what is the value or weight there? 10. But look at that weight from 1 to 3. The value marked is 3, so I can go reach 3, then I can move to vertex 4. The weight is 2, so 3 plus 2, totally 5 only. That will be my shortest distance. So these things are applied in your Chinese postman problem and the traveling salesman problem. Okay, like this you have to travel to all other nodes. Or I want to move from node 1 to node 5. Then what I have to do? I have to check all the possible paths. Then I have to pick the shortest path. For that we have many algorithms. Yes. So that graph is called as weighted graph. Now you can look at the definition. It's a graph for which each edge has an associated weight. Normally weight is given by function, but in general it can be an integer value or a float value also. It depends on the application. For distance, what we will give? Kilometers or meters. Okay. So you are just assigning some weight. Then that graph is called as weighted graph. So now look at the second diagram. I want to travel. I want to visit node 5. There is direct path from 1 to 5. There is path from 1 to 2, 2 to 5. If it is undirected means there is path from each node. That is 1 to 2 and also 2 to 1. I think you are clear with that one. So the direct path is 1. But if I am going through 2 means 2 plus 5, 7. We are having so many bypass roads nowadays to connect two cities. Yes, mainly to minimize the time. Okay, mainly to minimize the time. There they are using this algorithm. They are using the graph data structure only. We can use it for air transportation, ship or anything. Next, this planar graph and all, just you can have a look at it. Planar graph means a graph which is drawn on a plane, any rough plane, in such a way that no two edges intersect. There should not be any intersection between the edges. That is called as planar graph. No need to get it into detail these things. Just to understand what is planar graph. The edges should not intersect. That is the planar graph. Then subgraph, yesterday itself I told, for any graph you can have any number of subgraphs. So this is a complete graph. G is a graph. In that I can make one subgraph, C comma D. That is graph 1. G1 is the subgraph. B comma E, another subgraph. Or A, B, E, another graph. Any other thing possible? I think that's all. Because you can't tell A, C, D. Yes? Because there is no path from A to C. Remember that also. So ABE as one subgraph, C comma D as one subgraph, or B comma E itself as another subgraph. Yes, so these are all the subgraphs that can be formed. Now look at this example G. For this given G, I have what? G1. Any possible subgraphs A, C, D, E. There is path. So you can draw it as subgraph. Similarly, A, B, D, and also what? A, B, D, E. ACD also as another graph, like that you can draw. Yes, and these things no need to look at it. This minimum spanning tree we will discuss later. It's an application of tree and also graph also. Now we move on to this main thing, representation of graph. Actually, I will explain these things in detail in the next class, but know these topics at least. Actually, we are representing in two ways. Here they have given one more term also, incidence matrix. Okay, that is also another way of representing the graph. But the first one and third one only we are commonly using to represent the graph. Very important big question and normal one word question, interview point of view, they will ask question. How can you represent graph? Either by using adjacency matrix or by using incidence matrix or by using adjacency list. Yes, I will play that video at the end of the session. You can also remind if I am running out of time. So among these three representations, first and third are the very common modes of representing the graph. Adjacency matrix and the adjacency list. Anyway, we'll see these three things now. Okay. We know adjacent vertices. How to find the adjacent vertex for a particular node? If there is a path, if there is direct edge from that node to any other node, means then that the edge that is connecting the second vertex, that is said to be adjacent. Two vertices are said to be adjacent if they act as the endpoints for the particular edge. We saw the definition. So based on that, you are going to construct the adjacency matrix. Yes. So let's assume that E as the edge, whose endpoints are what? Vj and Vk. That means what? Vertices. If edge is there, means the endpoint should be what? The vertex only. Vertex are the endpoints. So Vj and Vk are the vertices. When they will be adjacent, if the edge is incident on the Vj, then we know the degree also. Okay, based on that, how we are going to calculate the adjacent matrix? Let us see. Let me draw a simple diagram. Then we come to this example. Sorry. So you can draw in your note also. Just draw three vertices, 3 or 4 vertices. Okay. They have mentioned a very big example, but let's see simple one first. So name these vertices as 1, 2, 3, 4. You can draw it first. So here you are having 4 vertices. Now you have to write in the matrix form 1, 2, 3, 4. Then for columns also 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Suppose now you have to fill the values. Now check, is there any path from 1 to itself? I told already for graph self loop is possible. For any graph self loop is possible. So but here self loop is not present for all the vertices. There is no path from 1 to 1. So put as 0. If there is any path from one node to other node means for those corresponding vertices you have to put the value as 1. This matrix is called as adjacency matrix. So now for 1, what are the adjacent nodes here? Find the adjacent nodes and for the corresponding nodes put the value as 1. That's all. Okay. Now tell me what are the adjacent nodes? From 1 there is path. So 2 is adjacent node. So make it 1. There is path to 3. So make it 1. From 1 there is path to 4. So make it 1. Okay. Similarly for 2, because these are the rows, these are the columns. This is for 4. This is a 4 by 4 matrix. You have to construct the matrix based on the vertices only. If I have 5 vertex means construct 5 by 5 matrix. If I have 3 vertices means 3 by 3 matrix. That's all. So now check what are the nodes that are adjacent to 2. Adjacent means if they are the endpoints for the particular edge. 2 and 1 are the endpoints for this edge. There is edge. So 2 to 1, 1. Is there any path from 2 to 2? There is no self loop at all. So put 0. Is there any path from 2 to 3? No. So put it as 0. Next. There is path from 2 to 4. Yes, there is path. Make it as 1. Find the adjacent vertices and put the value as 1 for those vertices. That only I am telling in the different way. If there is path means you have to put it as 1. Yes. Now what are the adjacent nodes to 3? Only one node is adjacent. Only 1 is adjacent to 3. Yes. There is no direct edge from 3 to 2 or 3 to 4. So 3 to 1 make it as 1. Then all other things 0. Now 4. What are the adjacent nodes to 4? 1 and 2. Make it as 1. Other columns as 0. If I have self loop, assume that if I have self loop means then this one will become 1. So 4 to 4 there is a path. So what you have to do? Make it as 1. So this is called as adjacency matrix. In this way you have to calculate the adjacency matrix. Okay. Let us see this example in the next class. This one also. I'll give some homework problem like that, or you can see this also. So here 5 nodes are there. 5 by 5 matrix is computed. What are the nodes adjacent to 1, 2 and 5 only? So for those 2 and 5 they marked it as 1. Others are 0. So we will see in the next class all other details. Now let me play one video. You all familiar with that puzzle, wolf, cabbage and that goat problem. Just I will play now, listen it. Now watch it carefully. Don't see only the things that are, we are very familiar with the solution. That just look at the application of graph.
On your way back home, you have to cross a river with your boat. However, there's a catch. The boat is only big enough to carry you plus one other item. And to complicate matters even further, you can't leave the wolf alone with the sheep because the wolf will eat the sheep. Likewise, the sheep will eat the cabbage if you leave them unattended. This is called a river crossing puzzle, a type of transportation puzzle, and it's a relatively simple one. You can probably solve it with a minute or two of thinking. So go ahead, pause this video, I'll wait right here. It probably didn't take you too long for you to realize that you have to take the sheep across first, because the wolf won't eat the cabbage. Then you go back to fetch the wolf. But since you can't leave these two unattended, you take the sheep back across the river. Then you take the cabbage across because the wolf won't eat it, And finally, you go back to fetch the sheep. Ta-da! All of your purchases have now made it safely across the river. Because this puzzle is so easy, we won. And how do we solve more complicated puzzles? More variables to constrain the puzzle. So instead, we can use something called graph theory, a field in mathematics which studies graphs. A graph is a representation of elements that are connected with lines. Each element is called a node, and the connection between them are called edges. Now let's solve our puzzle by using graph theory. We'll start by writing down all the valid states for our puzzle. The starting state is simple. The farmer, sheep, cabbage, wolf are all on one side of the river. The desired end state is also easy. All of them have to be on the other side of the river. From there, we can, for instance, start by transporting the sheep across the river. We can do that because the wolf won't eat the cabbage, and we can travel back as well because the sheep is fine by itself. The inverse of these two states is also valid, so we can write those down as well. Now let's go back to state 2. From here, we can transport the cabbage across and leave the wolf alone. Just like before, the inverse is valid as well. But now we have a problem. We can't leave the sheep and cabbage alone, so we have to take one of them back with us. If we take the cabbage back with us, we end up in state 3. So let's take the sheep back across instead. And once again, the opposite situation is valid as well. And that's it. That leaves us with 10 valid states for our puzzle. Now we can start constructing our graph. We'll start by creating a node for each of the possible states. And then we can connect two nodes if we can move between these states. So our first node is number 1, where everyone is on one side of the river. From there, we can only go to state 2 because we can't leave the wolf with sheep or the cabbage with the sheep. Then we can only go to state number 3, where the farmer goes back across the river. But now he faces a choice. He can either go to state 9 and take the wolf across, or he can go to state 6 and take the sheep across. From there, both routes have just one state they can go to until they converge together on state 5. And finally, they end up in the desired state. What we drew.
So with this, I will stop. I hope you know the practice that is used in the puzzle. We all know the solution, but see the different states that are used. So we have totally 10 states to move from source vertex to destination. That is, assume all those things as nodes. So you are having different path. From 3, there are 2 different paths, 9 and 6. Then from 9, he is reaching 8. Finally, he is reaching the state 5. So like this, we are using graph in many different applications. Yes. So with this, I will stop. If you have any doubts, you can ask. We will watch some other interesting videos in the future classes also related to the applications of graphs. Thank you, students.